All right. So I'm not gonna give us any fancy intro. We left off kind of in the thick of things. So you guys are in the ballroom. You spent a good hour waiting and mingling with people outside, and you've done a little bit of dancing. You're sitting around a table. There's a bigger sense of the same sort of cafeteria room divide going on right now. And it looks like it's going to be a very long night. You're comfortable at your table. The table had your names reserved on it and everything, and people are coming by supplying you with drinks and food anytime you need it. So get comfortable, RP a little bit, and at your own pace, feel free to approach those three factions or explore any other element of the throne room that you would like.
Hanu has taken out a very small, comfy pillow and put it like right near her plate and put Hanua on there, so he's just chilling and just feeds him a little bit of food.
So ponders. Have you been keeping that pillow with you this entire time?
Yeah, there are so many folds in this dress, guys.
Okay. So kind of looks around.
If I couldn't smuggle in some weapons, I'm gonna smuggle in some comfort, okay? Just saying.
So shrugs a little. He just shrugs at you. He rolls his eyes. Mom, you think we need to talk to more people, or
Just,
you think we asserted our presence?
actually just gonna take like a small walk around the perimeter. Just see what happens, but I there are some people I want to talk to, but you know, if I see anybody along the way, just good old small talk.
Yeah, I'll do that. I'll keep you informed. Still got the earrings, right?
Oh, you mean the earpieces?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I got them.
Okay. And he will look at his arm and be like, I'll be back. And Zell would walk around the vicinity, kind of just, like kind of casual walking with a drink in hand, kind of listening and everything. Not really getting engaged, just kind of listen to gossip. That's what people are saying.
Yeah, I'll take Hanua with her and just start looking at anything that's on the walls. Just dig. Last time she was in here was just really brief, so just soaking in the sights. And if anybody stumbles across her, she'll talk, but just maybe keeping an eye out for any possible spy masters.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, roll me an investigation.
I want to find him.
I know, yeah. I'll help her. We're having a genocide.
You know what? I have a good idea. Okay, listen.
Okay.
What if one of us just yells, "Hey, Spy Master!" Everybody's gonna look except the Spy Master, right?
You know what?
So we just look and see who doesn't look. I mean, we can wait till like the end of the night if you want, because I know that normal people probably don't like disruptions like that. But I think it could work.
Yeah, it needs to have like the greatest timing, just when nobody really thinks about it, and then boom! Yeah, I'm liking it. I'm digging it.
Okay, and I'm still gonna ask like everybody that I see though,
Yeah,
just to be sure.
Yeah, it's all good. It's all good.
People can't really lie to me. I got this.
All right, I think so. We're gonna probably divide and conquer. So you got.
So is y'all's plan to have somebody call out and then somebody else observe to see if somebody doesn't look?
Okay, here's what I think I want to do, if I can. I want to just start going up to anyone, and as the first thing I say to them every time, I just want to look them in the eyes and be like, "Hey, are you the Spy Master?" And I want to like make it come off as though I'm being silly, but I want to see what their face says. Just whoever I can get around to, or whoever looks most interesting to me, I guess, because I doubt I am.
Go ahead and make me an investigation check, and they'll be helping, so you can add an expertise die to it.
Okay. What?
I'll
Oh wow. That was
Yeah, you rolled a 2 on a d20 and you rolled a 2 on the d10, so you got 11.
I hate
Uh,
slide.
Wow.
That's just a
Ooh.
really good old spy master. That was like,
Fuck.
Well, I
You
mean,
talk to a couple of people, they laugh it off. It's gonna be about an hour of like doing checks and stuff on this. You guys are here for the next 4 hours, all right? Until midnight when the queen arrives. You can stay longer than that. But that's like the earliest you're able to leave and be polite. And so you're essentially going to be able to approach things like investigating or talking to groups with the idea that it's an hour anytime you're doing one of these interactions. So I should have mentioned that ahead of time. I'm sorry on that. If you would like to change your minds on which things you're participating in on that, feel free to, if that would have changed your decision on it. Because
I think they'll be doing exactly what we've been doing. I mean, kind of just walking around for an hour, kind of getting just the general feel of the place. Honestly, listening conversations and people goes up. So
okay, so not trying to approach any of the factions specifically, just kind of feeling out the
No.
party itself.
yeah, just trying to get the vibe of the party itself.
Okay, yeah, all right.
Scoping the place out.
I'd imagine Zarman, after doing that dance with Rue, would probably end up talking to somebody.
Yeah.
I think Zarman would ask either Fee or Arthur to approach with him to one of the groups. I don't know which one. Whatever one's closest, I'll roll the die. One for Protector, 2 for Arcanum, 3 for Artifice.
Okay.
Arcanum.
All right.
So take one of the NPCs and probably go talk to somebody.
All right. I'll get to that in just a second.
Yep.
Zale, do you want to make a separate investigation check?
Yeah, I'll make a separate investigation check.
Okay.
Didn't know the rolls are that's a nat
Far
one.
out.
Yep. There we go.
what are you
You
investigating?
guys.
Okay. Yeah. You mingle out throughout the crowd, talking to a couple of different people. You had like a different approach than what Tanu and Leaf went for, but they as they kind of do the whole gotcha thing. They get pulled into some conversations, and as you overhear certain conversations, they both have the same general theme to it. A lot of people are talking about who they think the spy master is. But the hot theory seems to be worries that it might actually be a changeling, and if that's good or bad. People seem to be really worried about the existence of the Waxelbo Gawalt. And if the spy master is indeed a changeling, does it mean that there's a potential enemy very close to the throne? There's no proof or anything. Nobody's citing anything or making any actual accusations, but it seems to be a very popular theory running at the
Theory
moment.
going around. Yeah.
And so, as Ace, what would you be doing for this first hour while they split off and you see that Zarman is getting ready to go talk to the Arcanum. Would you join him or stay hanging out, eating up this good grub with whichever
I was
beast
gonna
he's-
say, how's the buffet table looking?
It's amazing. Yeah.
Yeah,
He
in
is
that
loving
case,
it.
he's staying exactly where he is and devouring as much of this food as possible because free food.
Yeah, of course. He is 100% with you. She has gotten straight to the dessert table. She realized that she had just a bunch of dessert around her, and in a moment of self-consciousness goes, I'm just working my way backwards through the meal, promise. And starts to eat some of the cupcakes and the little fondue fountain thing that she had one of the servers place over onto the table. And so, as she's eating through that, and Zarman goes to approach, Zarman, you over here, as Arthur says to Fee, something like, I'm surprised you're still sticking around. He goes, really? Why? Well, as you said, there's a lot of crazy things in this group, and let's face it, you're kind of just a flower girl, aren't you? She goes, mm-hmm. Yeah, no, definitely. She eats another cupcake. I've never seen anything like this before, but I'm fairly certain that as long as I stick around with you guys, I don't think you'd ever let anything bad happen to me, right? And Arthur goes, one of these days, you're gonna have to fight for yourself. She swallows very nervously. Well, maybe, but I think sometimes it's just a good idea to have somebody around who is there to help you when the fight's done. It doesn't seem like you guys have a lot of that around, so figured maybe I could help. Maybe I took you wrong. Either way, be careful. Oh, hey, Zarman. You
I
look
was
nervous.
I was thinking of possibly heading to Arcanum. I didn't want to join as an odd man if you would mind coming along.
I'm not having much for this buffet, so I'll tag along. Sure. Might be entertaining. And he stands up. No food around him. He's been drinking out of his flask. And puts it inside of his coat and follows you. As you make your way over towards the Arcanum, you see that the spellcasters here are very clearly, comparatively, most of the people you saw waiting outside seem to be minor nobility or young students who got an invitation for perhaps academic excellence or something like that. Many of them came off as students. Approaching this, there's a much more professor-like vibe coming off of these people. What's that term? Sartorial. I love that word. There's a sartorial vibe coming off of this group of people. Wizened beards, everyone having obvious magical accoutrement, things floating around them, little familiars resting on their shoulders or their staves, and you know well enough to know that none of these are like magical, like arcane foci. They're clearly items of station that indicate their ranking inside of the Arcanum. And so you notice that the ones carrying the staves almost seem to be holding like anchors for conversations and as you look between each of them, they're clearly almost thematic demonstrations of magical knowledge. You see ones from the various schools of magic putting on demonstrations of high-level spells that their items of station are allowing them to be able to do here in the courtroom. Outside of that, magic normally shouldn't work here. But you approach in and you see that they're putting on these magical demonstrations. And Arthur looks about the group and says, "Well, it's like a carnival over here, isn't it? Where do you want to start?"
Hmm. Is there any demonstration of abjuration magic, perhaps?
You do. You see a demonstration of abjuration magic. Give me just a second. I gotta find my note for that. While I find that, if those in the rest of the part of the party would like to do some light RP chatter, fill the void. I'm gonna scroll through some stuff here real quick.
I think after a lap, I always just slide up to Zal and be like, haven't really found out anything about you.
I mean, some people think that Spymaster might be a changeling, which a lot of them are not liking the idea of, since the whole war going on.
It really doesn't make sense, though, because you can see through those magical disguises. I feel like they're just a regular old kindred who's just really good at what they do.
Yeah, I agree on that, but the problem is there's a whole secret police force in the place against us, so people are scared.
It's the good old paranoia. Also, speak up, I can't hear you over all this chatter, city boy.
All the chatter, yes.
Yes.
No, I think people are just scared.
Understandable.
Yes, and if by the news of what we heard, and I heard that the war's not really going so well. So I think a lot of people are just stressed.
Honestly, when has war ever gone well?
Never. At least that's what the Sage has showed me in history books. They never go well.
True that.
And usually they lose their meaning. Halfway through.
Unfortunately.
But so far that's all the talk. Which is, I guess, is good and bad the same way. Good that there isn't, I guess, talks of doing something about, just, I guess, good talks about not just hate, I guess you could say, towards the wall. So, if anything, if anybody said anything like that, there be definitely not publicly.
Yeah.
But the bad thing is no one's talking about the civil unrest here. That's all.
I think, I mean, driving up to this place, that was what the whole protest was about. But I don't really think... She stops for a moment and glances over the room. I don't know if it's just ignorance or just focused on us versus them.
Mentality.
Or they just don't know.
Gives me a little bit of everything.
Don't know that people are struggling.
Yeah.
But we can't fault those who don't understand. You just need time, and hopefully time will be on our favor. If not, broadcast it out and present it in a way that people realize what they are and aren't doing.
Yeah. It's also some things will be very much going against the tradition, which I have seen that tradition's heavy here.
I feel like
It's more heavy than blood, honestly, in some cases.
though, and I've seen people who went through the motions of tradition and ritual and forget what it's rooted in. And that usually just gets cleared up when, give a rallying speech or rallying experience where they remind themselves that what we experience now is a long thread of history and value.
You have a point there. Yes, that's why everybody's waiting for the queen. Hopefully, it puts things in,
Yeah.
put things straight, or at least gives them thinking that everything's not okay at home. But the war is just one thing. There's another war at home. Well, soon to be one.
Seems like there is a lot of homeless seeking refuge here. Eventually that is going to pour out. People are going to take note of that. But, I mean, honestly, nothing that we consider can really solve anything. The way that this is... You know what, I'm not getting into politics right now. I never really liked it. It's just a lot of talk, a lot of time. At least, as I've read. But also the politics I had to deal with at the temple. You want change, they tell you no. You ask why, they say you don't understand. You ask them to teach you why we don't understand, so I am not ignorant. And then they say, well, you'll know. You'll learn over the years. I'm like, well, what the fuck? Okay, anyways, I digress.
As Sage just told me, most people don't understand what's going on in the world. Some think they do, but most people do not.
Yeah.
All they have left is the pride of them thinking they know. But in the end, no one knows.
Well, yeah. Though something that I do know, it looks like as they say, your waifu seems to be drawing a lot of attention. I am going to swoon her, so you better watch out. I do need to talk to her about, what we had discussed a while back.
You don't have to have my permission.
No, I wasn't. I was just gonna tell you. Gonna talk to her. So if she's like really angry, when you talk to her, just know it was me. Just giving you a heads up. It gives you like finger guns.
Yeah, he kinda smiles a little bit at that as you see him very distant when he starts talking about her. Seems like he's thinking about something. But then he kind of shakes it away and looks back at you. Well, probably should do it tonight then. Probably be the best chance.
Yep. Let's just
Any case,
give you a
I think
heavy hand on the shoulder and pat your cheek. We'll talk later, okay?
He just kind of nods at that and he says, I'll go do another round.
Okay.
And he'll walk away after that. Just disappear into the crowd.
And as Arthur and Zarman approach this demonstration, you see that there is a Goliath here. He's a very imposing figure. But when he speaks very, very quiet and very low. And he is drawing attention to a very complicated spell that he's in the middle of casting. It's taking up the space around him, and he's having. You can see that it's being augmented with these like light illusions to make it look like It's odd. It doesn't look like like a house, but it kind of does. It's way too small, and he keeps changing the dimensions of it to add windows or a door and as he's doing it, he's explaining different types of wards or guards you could place in these things. Talking about stringing along magical lighting inside of your house and how the signs of this could for a common intruder imply nothing more than rich arcane sconces, but with a right amount of enchantments, could actually be a sign of greater protections ahead. And that sensing magic and just a few items will not tell you that this whole spell is throughout an entire place. You'll only sense it in the individual elements of it. And so it makes this spell particularly good at guarding places without it being quite as obvious that you have these protections here, which can be useful as demonstrated with the final stroke of it, where he asks somebody if they would like to step through into this house, and as the demonstrator goes and steps through on it, it says, "I would like you to leave." And then the person immediately turns around as that voice projects out across the door threshold, and they take a step and they turn away, and they look around a little confused, and then they just applaud, and everybody around them applauds as well. As the demonstration wraps up, somebody says, "We will need these, of course, in every one of our strongholds. With all of these war fronts coming on, it might be nice to give a couple of tricks to those Yellowmites. Knowing the fact that they don't even bother learning magic, they'd easily fall for something like this, don't you think?" And he says, "Yes, I agree. I propose just as much, but I will hear back when the Queen arrives later this night. Let us only hope that we can save many Harvalian lives with this." The group kind of breaks down into a couple of different debates at this point in time, and you hear this spell getting compared to another type of spell that is far less simple, that is immediately identifiable with a simple detect magic, but is quite powerful. Unlike guards and wards, which is just little home security efforts, this is true protection. Shouldn't we rely more on this? And it's prompted a debate about whether or not divine or arcane magic is the type of magic that the country should rely upon in this war. Which one is going to give Avale the greater edge?
And I'd imagine this is all just happening as Armin's just in the group.
Mm-hmm. Yes. You guys were observing that demonstration, and as it kind of culminated out with that applause, a few bits of conversation sort of broke out afterwards, and the person who was overlooking it, the Goliath, with his staff of station, is not speaking. He's observing. But he does seem to be curious about what people are going to say here.
Any of the magic that is the most easily replicated would probably be the most efficient one to do, probably.
Do you mean to say that arcane magic would be more replicable? Or that divine would be less replicable? Perhaps because of faith? After all, isn't it one's faith that drives the power of the divine magic? Or am I wrong? I'm not a practitioner myself. You know,
It feels very different in both cases. From my understanding of Avil, I think the arcane one would just be easier to do in multitudes. But I could be wrong on that.
No, you may be correct. There isn't much faith in this country any longer. Perhaps that is woefully lacking. Do you think that faith, lacking even the concepts of magic one way or another, that faith itself is useful in war? Or is it something that should be left outside of war?
I'm always concerned about what should and shouldn't be used in war. But when you can't trust what your enemy will bring, you should just bring what you can.
There's a bunch of murmurs throughout the crowd. The Goliath kind of strokes his beard, and yes, he has a beard. Goliaths have beards in my setting.
Heck yeah.
They don't need belts for it.
Mhm.
And he strokes his long wizened beard and nods his head. And as the group kind of like mingles out towards their tables and other demonstrations of magic going on, he approaches and he says, "Magic, arcane or not, should always be about what is useful." And he nods, and his big, massive hand lands heavily on your shoulder, and he walks away. And a couple of the other people that were still lingering kind of like look towards each other and murmur. You get the feeling that there was a greater level of compliment that just happened than what you felt just happened. He was very simple, casual, and walked on, but everybody else's reaction is a little bit more. God, can you believe it? No way.
Meanwhile,
They're all-
Zarn will just casually walk on, probably see another demonstration, or if he can, if not, just gather up, see where everybody else is at this point.
Yeah, that took up most of that first hour.
Yeah,
You
if
could
it's been a
probably-
larger portion of time, Zarn would be a little nervous and be all like, okay, where's everybody else?
Heading back towards the table, you can see that most of them have probably worked their way back there as well. CAC is an hour into this buffet, and
Always still in the fourth turkey.
Fee is currently eating salad. She did work her way backwards through her meal, and as she sees you guys come back up, she's like, "So, did you find out who the spy master was?"
It was me this whole time. I was surprised myself, but such is the way of the spy master.
Leave his face palming.
Well, we've still got a long time, so we'll keep our eyes out.
Yeah, oh yeah. I'm going to find a different way of observation. But I'm kind of bored. I'm just saying.
What you thinking about?
I'm
She
actually,
leans in conspiratorially.
I'm actually
Arthur goes,
I mean, you're making this a little bit more of a bigger deal than I was just thinking about surfing right now. I really miss it, but it just looks around the corner. Do you think we could like make a wave pool in here and then I could surf? Would she allow that? Either way, what are you thinking? She leans in even more conspiratorially to Fee.
I'm thinking that I might have eaten a little too much.
No, lock it off. Lock it off with me.
Let's do it.
Yeah, I'm getting a little bit too antsy.
I gotta stretch a little bit, and then it's dancing.
There you go. I was actually thinking about swinging by the band a little bit later. And, yeah, unless anybody approaches her, she is just going to use, haven't watched everybody the first time around this next hour as she's just making her way over to Asteria. She's just gonna observe and see. She has ideas on maybe what the status of the Spy Master is, but she's just waiting to see if there's either somebody extremely coy or just a little bit too nonchalant.
She's just sitting just behind the stage, and she's drinking some water, just taking a break. Nobody else is really around. She's just kind of like sitting there by herself, resting her voice and sitting between sets.
Alright, and she's gonna point to Fee of like, wait, do you want to talk to her first? I feel like, have you guys known each other before?
Oh yeah, we grew up together. Yeah, actually, she was really, really, really good earlier, so I wanted to go over and say hi anyways.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, come on. And I will just lead her over and just give Wisteria like the most casual head nod, kind of like "What's up, man?" chin, kind of like raised.
Fee goes in for the hug, and she's already expecting it, but you know, still a little stiff about hugging. Gives a little pat on her back as she like steps away, and she's like, I haven't heard anybody sing my mom's songs in a really long time, so I just wanted to say thank you. Your voice is so pretty. She would have loved it. And she looks to the side. Well, it was whatever. I didn't really think that you were gonna be coming here. It's good seeing you again. He goes, yeah, is it crazy? Me at the Queen's Ball. He goes, you know, well, you seem like you're fit for the ball. You look like a princess, like those storybooks we used to read. Oh yeah, I remember those. The ones, and they should kind of go a little back and forth real quick, and you catch that they're talking about like a particular like set of children's books in Auvale, about a little girl with pigtails who is constantly getting lost, and so. Yeah, they give a little laugh about it, and then she looks past Fee at you, and she's like, "So, what's up? You wanted to talk?"
Yeah. And I apologize if it sounds like I want to fight. That's just my word that I tend to admit. But is there anywhere private, or are you fine speaking over here?
I prefer conversations to be had out in the open.
Okay. Well, I mean, it's a more personal question, but seeing as you and Fee do know each other, I won't hopefully be overstepping my boundaries, but it's actually kind of about your mother. I don't know if you are up for that discussion.
Yeah, sure. What's up with my mother? Why, she give you the wrong tea or something?
Oh, no, she's perfectly fine. That's first and foremost, has she been doing okay?
She eyes you suspiciously.
I received like this really weird vision not too long ago, and another seer that I know also received it, and I just wanted to see if she was affected or not, and if she's doing okay.
Fine. You want to come and check up on my mom? Come and check up on her. You know what? She'd probably like it. But as far as things with visions and seeing the future, stuff like that,
I'm not worried about that.
I told my mom a long time ago that I don't like hearing about the future.
I'm
So she doesn't tell me these things. So if there's something going on with it, I wouldn't know.
no, sorry.
But
I misspoken. She's like waving her hand off. I'm not asking about the vision. I'm just asking if she seems just kind of dazed. I mean, I really enjoyed speaking to her. She's actually probably the oldest seer I've interacted with, and we rarely have kind or gentle stories. I mean, I've witnessed a lot of friends either slowly losing their grip on reality or becoming addicted to divination drugs, and it's just was curious about how it looks like on the other side, how you felt. 'Cause, I mean, eventually maybe I'm gonna be that way too. I think people tend to forget that those who see those visions are just caught in the waves. That maybe we're also drowning at the same time, but I apologize if I sounded a little bit crass or too formal. I just I don't really know how to approach these things. Conversation-wise. It's not something that people readily talk about, at least in my experience.
listen, I don't know a whole lot about it, but I know that it's not something you choose. So, if it's as hard for you as it's been for my mom, I'm sorry. You should visit her. She's a lot better for these types of conversations than I am. I don't like thinking about the future. At least not the idea that it's already written and somebody knows about it. So, I'm sorry if I seemed a little bit bitchy.
That's fine.
It's just been a long running theme in my life, so.
Yeah.
Anyways, I've got another set.
Oh, just one quick thing before you leave. She's just gonna like pretend to be extremely nonchalant. What languages does Wisteria know? Does she know Celestial?
You're uncertain.
Okay. I was gonna be extremely coy about it, but okay, but I might as well not. So I decided to do a little bit of a new hobby not too long ago. It was very eventful. I learned a lot, number one. And she kind of had a plate with her as she was talking, and that she knows that she was eventually going to get into this section, and she's just fiddling around with the plate. And she's just lying up to her in the sauce in the plate, just wrote out, stole from Valente. You know, just keep an eye out. I might have like stepped in a few places when I broke like a few flower vases, you know, when I was doing my parkouring, and since you're close to Zale, I just don't want my, you know, adventurous disposition to stir up any trouble or shed a nasty light on you.
She raises an eyebrow very slowly throughout this bit, and then she just smiles and goes, "You're all just that weird, aren't you?"
Oh, I don't try to hide it at all. Don't mind me.
Adventures. And she gives like a roll of her eyes and a bit of like a playful smirk, and then she turns back to Fee and says, "It was good seeing you." She goes, "Yeah, you too. Break a leg," and gives her a last hug. And she turns and heads back up onto the stage.
She's gonna look at Fia very confused, be like, "Wait, what? Is that normal to break a leg?"
It's an Alvalian expression.
She's gonna step.
I mean, good luck.
Do you all also know about the pit fighting? She's like leading Fee away of, wait a second. What?
And they make their way back to the table, and you hear them talking about pit fighting.
It's like, I mean, clearly you really talk about techniques and how not to break a leg, but I mean, if it means good luck, I guess something must have happened, right? Am I right?
Fee thinks it's hilarious.
Hanu's just confused. I thought they didn't like pit fighting here, but apparently, guys, they do. They have a whole expression about it. And knowing Babette, she probably also knows that break a leg is like an actress thing. But Babette's not here, so she's just gonna ride this wave as long as she can.
Found it really funny when Hanu asked that. Oh, it's an Alvalian saying, and then the thing in the siren skip.
So good.
Okay, so
Interesting.
so I imagine we're gonna start the second round of things.
Yeah. Whenever you guys want to.
Yeah, Hanu's gonna just chill with vibe with Zarman for this round.
Zarman was thinking of possibly introducing himself to another group.
Okay, I'm here. Don't worry about it. She's just gonna make sure you look all like smooth out any wrinkles and your hair's is
Yeah,
nice.
because the only one he hasn't actively talked to anybody from it is the Artifice.
All right. I mean, I'm pretty sure you've heard Zale nerding it out so many times. So I think I could probably carry it along, but I'm here to support you. 100%.
Hey, Kak, is just looking at Kak like probably destroying another plate of food. I was thinking of possibly going to talk to the Artifice. Would you like to come?
He'll pause his eating for just a moment, glance at the table, glance at you, glance at the table.
You don't have to.
I can
All
carry
right,
another
come.
plate for you. She'll carry another plate.
He will very slowly and reluctantly follow.
Listen, we need the expertise of an intellectual, number one. Number two, Zale's too much of a nerd for this conversation.
Yeah, because Zale's already disappeared into a crowd somewhere.
I know. See, he ran away. Of course.
Yeah, I think the only one I haven't quite seen is Zale. You happen to know where he went?
I saw him, like, somewhere not too long ago. He was just picked up a little bit of, talk. Some people are worried that this spy master might be a changeling just because of, what war paranoia and stuff. So, what he's up to, I don't know.
Well, if we run into him along the way,
Yeah, probably.
Zarman will lead Hanu and Kak to talk to Artifice.
Okay. Yeah, you're looking around here. There's a bunch of people playing card games. There's people sitting around dinner tables having like conversations about trade routes and stuff. Everybody here is just really wealthy seeming, right? But also there seems to be like a lot of more like variety here, and like people from like different cultures, different religions, different races, versus the other ones, which were a little bit more homogenous, other than perhaps there being like a couple of like gnomes or the odd single like Goliath that you saw amongst the Arcanum, but but you see all sorts of people sitting around these tables. The only thing they have in common is that they all are rich. There's only one other person though that kind of immediately stands out to you guys in this bit of a section because they're like sort of off and the walls of this, standing that hasn't really picked the table and stuff like you guys. They're kind of like lingering on the outside, and nervously fiddling with something. It's an Aarakocra. It looks a bit like a rooster. Like it's got the whole rooster look going on. And he's like, "Oh gosh, not now, not now, not now. I thought I had this thing working." And he's fiddling with some sort of like contraption in his hand that seems to have gone awry.
Did we approach them? Just side leaning towards like Hanu,
I think.
and probably where Cat can hear too.
Yeah, she's gonna motion for Cac to help him out. I mean, I think so, in case something might actually end up happening. He gets hurt. But don't scare him too much. You have a way with words, Cac. Swoon him. She pets and gives you guidance.
Yeah.
Tell him about all your equations.
If you don't mind, of course.
Of course, yeah, I have no idea. I'm gonna hurt myself if I try to help him out.
Give his big sigh and just walk over. What is this?
Yeah, it's just it's a bit of a toy, really. Well, it was supposed to be a bit of a toy, a gift. It's supposed to fly around like a little. Well, as you see, it's supposed to look like a dragonfly. Well, I heard it looks less like a dragonfly, more like scary, floating, ugly dragon creature thing. But I'm not an artist. Evidently, I'm not much of an inventor either. But he looks across the room, and you see this other Aarakocra, very fine feathers. This one's got, and she's sitting at a table with a couple of other like humans and other like wealthy members of the Artifice community. But there's like a bit of a shared glance between them for just a moment. Bashful looking. Oh, young love, you can spot it immediately. But he seems nervous, and this gift in his hands is broken and falling apart.
Roll his eyes. Give.
Oh, sure. I mean, it can't get broken anymore. Hands it over. And it's just with your artifice tools.
Okay.
Yeah, they actually have a check called engineering now.
Oh yes,
Yeah.
that's true. Engineer.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
give you some. No, I already. Since guidance probably already wore off, I'll give you some enhanced ability. Just like, you got this, man. You got this.
Is magic working in here?
Yeah, actually, is it working in here? Is my guidance working?
It doesn't require material components for that, right? Yes.
Enhanced
If it
ability,
requires
the guidance does not.
Well, if I focus on my holy symbols, then it wouldn't.
Yeah.
And my
that
holy
would be
symbols
a
are on my
material, but, you know, it's
hands. My holy symbols are on my hands.
Okay. Yeah. Then
Yeah,
yeah.
it hurts tattooed on. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. I remember now. Yeah,
Yeah.
I forgot about that feature. Then yes, you can.
I'm just massaging his shoulders. You got this, bro. You got this. So I give you whatever. I guess it's intelligence for engineering. One would hope.
I think.
Cunning.
Yeah, intelligent.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I give you that. Yo.
Ooh.
You had advantage, by the way.
No, he did. He rolled. It's 14.
I mean, that cleared the DC quite easily. You take it, pop off the little thing real quick, go in there, see that something was kind of just misaligned, and with a quick little twist of it, suddenly the thing whirs up and it floats into the air between the two of you. And he's like, "Oh, why didn't I think of that? Quite, I'm an idiot. Thank you. Rooster Jack. That's my name, Rooster Jack. Actually, my name is, but it's hard to pronounce for most of you people. So
Enjoy your evening. As Zarman does a light back.
Sort of just stare at him for just a moment, blink a couple of times, and just, yes, well, you can call me Kak, and if this ever breaks again, do feel free to come find me. I'll probably be over there. And he'll point back over towards the buffet table. Good luck.
yes, of course. You see, the thing is, have you ever been in love? See,
I'm just gonna slowly look over between the two.
Excellent.
the reason this takes an hour is because for the next 30 minutes he tells you about how he first laid eyes upon that fair Aarakocra sitting at that other table. And unfortunately, he comes from a very not good family. Is getting into this whole thing for tradesmen and stuff is merely to be able to have a shot, to be able to get the kind of line of work that will be able to help him actually propose to the woman that he loves. And he's just recently gotten into this position, station, where he thinks that he might actually be able to do this and not get shot down by her parents. But suddenly he is so nervous and is wondering if you have any advice for professing one's love to the person that you've been sharing longing glances with for better on 10+ years.
Probably described in way longer words, and many of them. So Hanu and I are taking turns getting plates from the buffet table for Kak
I know.
for him to bear this
And
conversation.
yeah, she's just looking between the two
Well,
of like, oh my
considering-
god, wow.
Considering this involves more the human intimacy and relationship side of things, which Kak is absolutely terrible with, he would probably just be, well, you see, love is like, looks down at his plate of food.
It's like
Yes,
it's like a
it's like
sandwich.
food.
It's layered like a sandwich. Very complicated.
You,
I should
If
tell
you
her
enjoy
that
it,
my
you
love is like a
eat it.
sandwich.
so
No.
if you enjoy the thing, you eat the thing, and that's more or less like love. If you enjoy it, you devour it, and if she wants your love, she will devour it, or something.
Dear God.
Okay.
Double a pass
And
of
you are not
22
going to unless you try it. So you should probably try it. Yes,
That is
that's what you should do right now. Go on.
Wait
go.
a
a
second.
little
Wait.
rooster thing is
Have this. Okay, eat this rice pudding first, Kak. I would recommend if you know anything that interests her, present it first, so she's aware that you're taking interest in what she likes.
well, she very much likes dragonflies. I did my best. The estate that she and her family have been protectors of for some time. The Dragonfly estate is got cherished memories for her. We've talked about them before a couple of times, and so yes,
You want to
that was sentiment.
make it like a little tiny, like, mechanic dragonfly that just kind of like flaps its wings and maybe play, I don't know.
See it floating between them.
Right,
that's
that's what was being prepared.
Oh, she was like, oh,
Yeah.
I was like, okay. Oh,
like I gotta.
How
get
much
it.
of a
Like, I just need to
dragonfly
know
does it look
what
like?
to say.
yeah, actually, how
It-
convincing is it?
It does not look like a dragonfly.
She's just gonna wince a little bit, like,
Could Kek fiddle with it a little bit more to make it resemble more of a firefly?
Yeah. You could you could. What would either work here is you could give me another engineering check. It would be a higher DC, or somebody's got disguise kit proficiency, that would also work in this case. Because you just be like tacking on a couple of little things to dress it up with the disguise kit. All right, lower DC, easier to do. Or you could
Actually trying to fix it to make it look the way he intended. Engineering.
Yeah.
You still
try and
have
fix it.
enhanceability
Alright.
on, but then she's gonna look to Zarman and be like, I did not know that was a dragonfly. Wow, I feel so embarrassed.
I think that's what he started with in his nervous spat.
Okay. I thought it might be like modern
Oh
art or
shit,
some shit.
31!
And
Yeah.
I'll use my sporadic genius to give that +5, so it's a 36.
It's a really good dragonfly now.
Marvelous. Oh my gosh. Thank you so much. Wish me luck.
Alright.
Takes a
Yes,
deep
yes,
breath.
good luck.
His rooster
Keck
chest
literally
popped up
only
very big.
did that. Keck literally only did that to try and get him to leave, because he's had enough of this.
Oh,
He
Oh.
heads over, and there's a couple of the people that are sitting around there, and he takes like a deep breath, trying to find like a way in on the conversation. They're all quite caught up on this, and then he says, "My lady, could I have a talk for just a moment?" And she looks around at everybody, and there's a bit of like a sheepish moment as she says yes and stands up, and you watch them walk away, and you can't hear what they're saying. But the dragonfly like flips around her, and she seems to be really, really happy about it.
just give a big sigh of relief. Okay, he read that right. That's good. Okay.
And yeah, that ends out that hour.
Can I return to my food now?
I didn't expect that to be what was interacted with today. Let's go back.
I don't know. I think that was honestly one of the more interesting things that kind of happened. It's the most human that I've witnessed. I mean, the most kindred that I've witnessed, but yeah, kind of an asshole at the same time.
He's just caught up on one thing, like everybody else here.
I mean,
That's fine.
I know people are talking down to us because we're like have an accent from the Kodri Coast, but like, bro, chill. I know
I
that's
had people actually looking in admiration earlier. I don't know what I did.
because
Zarma's just leading people back, talking about the Arcanum thing.
I know because they witnessed how great of a person you are, number one, and how pure of a heart you have. That's why.
Zarma scrunches his nose a little bit. I'm still trying to get used to compliments.
I am too. So don't
Well,
worry.
get used to him, mister. There's
Oh.
a big beaming smile as you guys join the table.
Threateningly.
So, how'd it
smile.
go? Yeah, I didn't see any wands getting pulled out, so glad I chose to sit over here.
Yeah, Kak ended up fixing somebody's contraption. And when I mean
Very-
fix, I mean pretty much invent from scratch. It kind of looked like a pile of junk.
Yeah.
Yes, well,
Yeah.
everybody has to start from somewhere, my boy. He just chose to start with a pile of trash, unfortunately. But at least he tried.
He did.
That's all that matters.
That is admirable.
Love it.
I think that leaves Zale and Leaf to pick something, right? For the second hour.
Mhm.
What is Zale and Leaf doing?
I'll let this go. I feel like
Leaf
mine-
has been eavesdropping on people.
We just see like little headshots of Leaf poking around people's like shoulders and above their heads, and like, whoop.
Right. At first, Leaf was doing the whole joking, hi, Spy Master, and ha ha, and now she's doing like hard staring around the room.
Could she could use Sense for Secrets and look around for like cool shit, traps, doors, magical. I don't know.
Around for cool shit in the room.
Be looking.
What's some secrets?
gain an expertise die on investigation checks. You can spend 1 minute observing an area. If there are tricks, traps, secret doors, or other unusual features of a non-magical nature within 30 feet of you on an unobscured surface you can see, you know something nearby is worth investigating, but not what or where it is.
Oh, that's interesting.
Can't use sense of secrets twice on the same area.
Huh.
Okay.
So for the next hack, she's just going through the throne room using that.
Yeah. Go ahead and give me that investigation check with expertise. Oof. Okay.
Nice.
All right.
Oh yeah.
Hold up. I got a note page for Secrets of the Ball.
Yeah.
Well, you note that investigation check of non-magical nature on this list. Let me see. You note that the entire center floor evidently can lower or something. It looks like it drops actually, like it's not connected to the floors around it. You suspect that there's a mechanism that kind of lowers it like an elevator. How far down that would go and how it's activated, you're not certain. You were not able to find that. You also note that there's a secret trapdoor underneath the throne.
Okay.
Those are the two secrets you've gleaned from the throne room. There's a secret elevator in that very center circle in the middle. So that whole section actually lowers. And there's a trapdoor underneath the throne.
Can I look to see if I see any mechanism that might lower it? Can I look more?
With that check, it would have encompassed everything you looked for in that hour, and unfortunately, you weren't able to find the mechanism for it.
Lame.
And Zale, what were you up to?
Zell wants to look for the Order of Asmodeus. Are they with the Protectors or are they with a different group?
Oh, you see that they're all mingled in with the Protectors. They're pretty obvious. They have their crest and everything, like official heraldry. They love the color red. All right, so they stand out. All right. Most of them just seem like regular. If you didn't know that there was something different about them from any of these other groups, you wouldn't know. Other than the fact that their knights have more ribbons on them than a lot of the other knights around do. It seems like they've probably seen more action and earned more rewards as a result of it.
Alright, so we'll walk over to the Protectors then. See what's going on there.
All right. The Protectors. Okay. Leaf is tuning in. Let's see. All right. They're caught in a bit of a similar sort of debate that you'd kind of caught from outside, actually. But specifically, they're very focused on talking about Vox right now. There's evidently not a very unanimous decision amongst the Protectors on whether or not Vox should be called terrorists or not. Essentially, the question is, can Vox reliably be viewed as the voice of the people, as they claim to be? And should knights listen to scoundrels such as Vox when determining what is right for the people? So while nobody seems to want to agree on calling them terrorists, they all do seem to agree that they're scoundrels, right? That word keeps getting dropped left and right, scoundrels. That they don't fight honorably. And so even though they have good intentions, their scoundrel-like behavior might just do more harm than good. The two sides on this that you hear is if Vox are commoners, then the scoundrel aspect of their nature must mean that it is in a common Auvalian to be scoundrel-like. This is why knights don't execute highwaymen, for example. Just because somebody is a scoundrel doesn't mean that it is on knights to determine whether or not they deserve any sort of punishment, right? And this side seems to think that Vox can be viewed as a reliable voice of the people. Just because the people sound like scoundrels right now doesn't mean that they're not the voices of those people, all right? There's got to be a reason people are being such scoundrels right now, all right? Highwaymen rob because they need food, all right? In a country where people aren't hungry, there aren't highwaymen. And so they haven't had to deal with highwaymen in a long time in Oakdale. It's not a common thing here because of the plentiful bounty that they've got. And so they think that if people are acting like scoundrels, it must be because there's something that they need that they're not getting. The other side says common or noble, Auvalian or foreign, enemies of peace are not reliable examples of good character and shouldn't be deciding if a fight is worth fighting for or not. That is a knight's duty.
Huh. Gotcha, okay. At this point, Zell's kind of walking over, kind of listening. He's kind of listening to both sides of the story, both sides of the argument. He says, kind of at first to the right side. Well, but is it a knight's duty to also be judges? How can you say that a way a person is thinking just because they're a foreign or a commoner, and if they are a noble, is wrong? Just to say yourself, emotions play a huge part on anybody's decision. You have control and have to use your judgment to view that. And you know through your own history in Nonville that things change. Is it one so yourself that one of your kings was working with the Thieves Guild in the past? When you say that
Allegedly, yes. As the bards are wont to sing.
Yes, allegedly. But yet your king still did actions which were facts that would be considered now scoundrel. But you say he was a good king. So what is your right to judge, then, as a knight, what is good or bad? The world is...
Suppose history is the final judge.
And not just... But... history is not the only one. And he goes and looks to the left. And you're right. People write history. People are history. As much as we think of what Vox has done, in both the extreme and the protest outside, as you very much were well aware of when you came in, history is written by the people. Especially your people. It is passed down from generation to generation. And you think that these people with all these histories and all these knowledge and the love they have for this country, how will they be scoundrels if they're fighting for a reason that they believe in, just as yourself so you think as your knightly duties? You believe in them as such as they. They're not scoundrels. No. They're your people. And they only wish for you to understand why they fight. They try to make you understand. It's almost like You view things as black and white, but very much the world is not. Most of the time it's gray. But it's up to you, who have the authority and the power, to judge, as you say so yourselves. It is your duty. So you cannot judge through black and white means. You have the right and the ability to understand what the people need. More so than Vox. Vox will be the voice of the people, but you can be, as your name says, the protectors. The voice of reason. That is what you all can be. So do not view them as scoundrels. View them as people of Oddville who are frustrated. He says,
There's a bit of murmuring amongst the group, and you see as from behind you, a voice speaks. You hadn't even noticed them approach. And as he goes, he says, "Words like that are bound to piss a few people off." Turn around, and you see you've seen him before when you first arrived in Auvale, standing beside the Queen. You recall his name to be Garen Lionscrest, and by the emblems on his shoulders, you know him to be leader of the Lions Guard.
Hmm. Ah. Garen, correct?
Huh. Zeo, right?
Pleasure to meet you again.
Well, I suppose this is our first time formally meeting. I happened to overhear your conversation, and I have to say, I agree. Vox, even if they're misguided, should not be viewed as scoundrels. If anything, we should be viewed as scoundrels for not being able to understand duty so clearly that it takes a foreigner to come in and remind us. Some of these knights should be ashamed. There's a couple of grumbles amongst a couple of the people, and then he kind of steers you away from the table and says, "However, knowing certain enemies, maybe be a little more judicious in your phrasing. That table had quite a few horns at it, if you understand my meaning." And he gives you a wink and gives you a bit of a slap on the back that makes you skip forward a step. And then he turns to walk around the other side of you, and he points towards the throne room, and you see the empty throne, and he says, "Just waiting for the main event now, aren't we? I happen to be very, very excited for this one. If you happen to be around after her address, maybe we'll talk again. Take care, Zale." And he laughs as he walks away. A couple of the you catch some dangerous looks from people from the Order of Asmodeus as he walks by, and you see him approaching Barak and Demetrius. Demetrius gives you a nod with a bit of a coy smirk underneath his mask, and Barak waves very obviously from across the room. And then they walk off in another direction to continue their conversation.
Yeah, he kind of smiles like a nods kind of at both of them. And he said the Order says Melius was looking at Garen with those hostile eyes, right?
Yeah, No, at him as he walked
At him.
by.
Gotcha. So yeah, he kind of.
He seemed to paint himself as a target quite deliberately, and then walked by, sort of basking in it as he did.
Mhm. Yeah, and he kind of looks at that and kind of not really a bit like not like in the way that he's passive perception can just see them. Kind of looks, keep an eye on that Order Asmodeus, and kind of pulls out a little trinket he has in his pocket and puts it back and starts walking over to the rest of his game.
Okay.
Just because in this certain part of that conversation we heard that drunk laugh, Hun is just looking at the statue like, is that guy really trying to climb up on it? He's almost gonna get. Oh no, he's gone. He fell down. Okay. Oh no, he's trying to get. Wow.
I think that guard needs to be paid overtime.
I mean, they look like they're both having fun. Maybe I don't know. Oh, there
so
he goes
good.
again.
Oh no, he's laughing louder.
Yeah.
The other problem is like not gonna hear the shit you were clearly against fucking day was 22 passive perception.
Yeah, it was like,
So we're gonna leave it to have a break here for a moment, guys.
Alright.
Okay.
Online, grab some drinks, use the restroom, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
We're mostly through this now, guys.
Golf claps
Yeah.
for Mashad. Very good, very good.
Yeah, I was half tempted to make a golf clap joke after the whole demonstration of the tiny hut.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was great.
Oh no, they were using guards and wards.
Yeah, I know you mentioned Guards and Wards a couple times, but I also saw that you mentioned like a tiny little area that they're in. So
Oh,
it's like
yeah.
a tiny Guards and Wards is what you probably meant. Okay.
Yes, like a tiny guards and wards, because you can limit the size of it, and they couldn't make it go over the entire throne room even if they wanted to. So it was like the small little section over there where they.
I mean, that's CAC after watching anything, I'm guessing. That's a good gift.
Pretty much.
Yeah, I would say to demonstrate Zell's intelligence uses of like his persuasion, his charisma, basically all his charisma skills, he's very much embodying the whole voice of reason title that he got in the future.
Okay.
But no, it's interesting, Garen. I was wondering where he was.
Good old Garen. Garen's fun. Garen is, in my mind, if Marcellus and Barack had a baby.
That is so accurate. Oh man.
Wow.
Yeah. No.
He comes off as a tad bit more clever than Barack.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he definitely does. Definitely came off like that.
But he still has his presence known.
Yeah, well, he's a tank, His whole thing is like, you just put yourself in danger. Let me make myself a target here instead, and he's even doing it in a social scenario because it's just in your nature when you're a tank.
No one's
Be like, must protect the little isolated one.
Right, because went in there alone and none of us knew he went to go talk to him.
It's good stuff.
Good. Also, the little trinket that he had a touch. Hanu, only person would know that would be Hanu. Is part of Whisper's necklace you gave me.
Ah, gotcha.
Because, yeah,
Gosh.
talking with the Order of Asmodeus, they're having them there.
Look, I must do this for the boat waifu.
Yeah, everybody's like talking to these people, and meanwhile Leaf is all, I will find the spy master.
Right?
I will
love
fucking
it.
find them.
I love it. It's so
Just
good.
immediately, like, at this point, she's on top of like some of the statues, like peeking over just to find this motherfucker.
Honestly, low-key, I have a terrible migraine right now, so yeah, Leaf is just skirting all the way around everything and hiding in the shadows like a fucking weirdo and observing and trying to take in as much as possible. She's like, I don't feel like talking.
Yeah. Could I insight the crowd to see who might possibly be the spy master?
That sounds like a third
I
hour
feel like-
type of thing.
Yeah, I need, but I don't know.
I'm gonna be
I just
making
love
my
Y'all
it
got the
because-
third hour to make another attempt.
Yeah.
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 Also, I just love it because I feel like Leaf fucking sneaking around is gonna find some shit while we're busy talking.
I know.
Like she's the late game carry.
You're
She's
gonna
gonna kill
find
late game.
so much stuff. Maybe not the spy master, but you found all this other cool ass shit. You're like, oh,
Right.
yeah.
Come back like a crow with little trinkets. to
I
give
know.
away.
Yeah, it definitely is very well hidden that center floor is false. Like
elevator.
I'm
an
gonna let
elevator.
everybody know, but I'm gonna be really like low key. Like you guys are gonna forget Leaf exists, and then at a certain moment be like, "Hey, wait a minute, where's Leaf?" And then she'll pop up at that point.
Fuck.
Be like, "Hey guys, I've got
Right.
lots of info."
Gosh.
Oh.
I mean,
Love it.
Keck's advice to love is a
Oh my
sandwich.
God.
Devour it. It's like, wow. Such passion.
I mean, isn't that what you do, right?
Yeah, I was just saying it's very layered. I don't want to go into the onion route, but like, yes. It's a combination of forces that you use until you create a wonderful masterpiece that you can devour.
You know, you're not going to know if you like it or not until you taste it first. So, you know, go taste it. Go on.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it's just very funny that particular Protectors discussion had the obvious Asmodeus influence of trying to divide the boxes, scoundrels, and then you immediately went in there and unpacked that shit.
Mm-mm.
Yep.
Yo,
Yep, well.
bitch, what you saying? Do you hear what you saying?
No, exactly. When I was listening to that, I was like, I know what the fuck I'm saying.
He's like, there's some horns in there if you know what I mean, man. Okay, I got you.
Zale always just gravitates towards horns. What are you talking about?
Not wrong.
Let me go over there. Oh.
Savage.
Live and whisper the area.
So draw the horns.
Yeah, you're like, oh.
What can I say? I'm affinity with devils.
It's like a
almost
birth
it was
sign
a
or
birth
something.
sign or something.
I know, right?
Fucking both it is. We hang out too much. God damn it.
It's the same voice too. Holy. Oh
Man.
shit. Oh, but so good, so good. I'll order Asmodeus.
Mhm.
And I'm glad Kak at least interacted with one of them significantly, because none of us invited him to go to Artifice. He wasn't going to go anywhere.
Mhm.
Yeah, no. Yeah, that got some good points. Y'all got finally some good points for Artifice out of that.
We helped nerds get together. There we go. Yeah.
Yeah, that dude's about to marry into a stupidly powerful family.
Great
They own
ally.
the Dragonfly estate, and that is something that Rue would have taken note of. But so it wasn't a throwaway name. I'm really upset that she wasn't here for it. She's never here when we talk about
Well, that's the
things
one
that are
thing.
relevant.
Like, I think, Hanu did learn from Libby that her name is Dragonfly, so she's gonna keep that. So like, okay.
I've already written it down for
Yeah.
Rue, just in case.
So we're both like approachers. So guess what?
They were said that they recently became that they were the protectors of the Dragonfly estate.
Yeah.
And then it's like not even like I guess technically theirs in a way. Like they're not making they're like protecting it. Whatever
Yeah,
the hell
yeah.
that means.
It's they're like.
It's
kinda
there
doing a
now. I
weird-
got my seed laid in.
Yeah. Do maintenance, you know.
Right. It's just the main thing of trying to get that guy's feelings across in a device that is more reflective of what he wanted.
We're just like, wait, does he Does he know what a dragonfly looks like? That doesn't look like a dragon. What? Can't help it.
Yeah, I like how he mentioned that in his spurt of like panic, but Hanu just didn't notice, and then it's all like, "What the fuck is that thing?
I know,
You should have made a dragonfly."
She's
Oh,
looking
it was
at
supposed
it.
to be.
I know,
Oh.
yeah, she was just looking at it. It's like, what
It
is
made
this?
it all the better.
What is this? Oh, it's a dragonfly. Oh, didn't really look like a
Yeah,
dragonfly.
it's so good.
Dragonfly state, one power from local family. Holds it,
She's just like a bunch
switches
of,
out something.
you know, smart people talking. What is that? is this modern art?
Which is why it was so appropriate. It's like, God damn it.
The funny thing is, I love that is that like you, for Zarvin, you went to the Arcadium while I went to the Protectors.
I mean, Zarman started by going to Protectors outside, and then Zil started with Arcanum outside.
Yeah, the next little switch.
Good old switcheroo.
Exactly.
I'm just debating if Zarman would want to hang out with anybody at this point, because he's at least made an opinion known amongst all of them.
I mean, I'm gonna
Mhm, mhm.
go.
Yeah, you
Zarman
don't
might just
have
actually start critiquing and learning this food at this point, you know?
Yeah, you guys do not need to feel the need to fill every hour of this interacting with these people. There
Yeah,
isn't
I feel like at this point Zarman is already feel like he made a good impression with all of them. So.
How does
Yeah, I'm happy to say that the next hour is you guys hanging out at the table together, just enjoying the food and the party, and not trying. You've already done your politicking stuff. You know, you guys did like good couple of hours of this already. It's been a long night already, so it's a good time for you guys to sit down. Even while we're taking our break here, it's a good idea to think of this as well as being that.
Right.
That
It's
break.
all like,
Yeah.
Exactly.
And of course, it might also be interesting to see if anybody approaches us by this point, if at all.
Yeah,
Everybody's probably focused on their own things at this point.
I'm gonna probably
Well, the Queen's
swing
gonna
by
arrive.
Demetrius just to briefly mention something, but if Zarman wants to talk to Brock about anything, it's free to.
I don't think Zarman would really have anything in particular to talk to Brock, mainly because he seems nice, but he's really loud.
That's about right. That's about right for Zar's for Zar's personality.
Alright.
I've done a lot of talking today.
Okay, alright,
Yeah.
there you go, there you go. It just gives you a nice little back, shoulder, like, massage, just like, you did good.
Yeah,
I mean,
and since I wasn't here for the session, I didn't get to describe that Zarman's wings, like the membrane parts between where the bones would be. That's the part that's scarred, not his back anymore.
Ah, gotcha.
Gotcha. Cool.
So it's out there on his wings that it's heavily scarred.
Hmm.
Gotcha. Okay. Hell yeah. Yeah. I mean, for the most part, Dell would definitely pretty much return. If Hana goes to speak with Rock and Dimitri, he would go with Hana.
Yeah, she's gonna do another quick sweep around just she's curious, but she's also like, if there's any potted plants, is it the potted plant? It's like, huh? So yeah,
No, it's a cardboard box in the
Still haven't
corner.
found any leads on the
I know, right?
Yep.
Can,
It's just investigation checks. It's just going to come down to you deciding what your tactic is and a role that's associated with that, right?
Okay.
If you can think creatively in that regard, feel free to, right? But the standard of it is going to be an investigation check.
okay.
Yeah, and earlier Sarah was asking if she can do her tricky interrogations as the thing, but she didn't describe her initial description of it. So that's something she could do the last way.
They can't say, yeah, exactly, because they can't say,
Right, it's a
If
whole
they-
thing of you pose a yes or no question weirdly in a way it provokes them to where you know the answer before they even say it.
exactly, yeah, that's,
So
yeah,
it's a
that's-
deception way of going around the room.
Yeah, 100%. You could do that, and I'd say you'd be able to gain advantage on your investigation check with the expertise, because it's still a lot.
Mhm.
Should I
Yeah.
roll?
Yeah, go ahead.
Can I help her narrow it down though? Like,
That's that's adding in the expertise on it.
alright, gotcha.
What is
So
the?
you're actually
What, is
just
the
stack.
what?
You
Sorry.
would stack your expertise 3 times for this, which would be its cap, I believe.
It's a deception check.
No,
it's a deception
investigation.
check. He's saying it's investigation purely
Oh.
because of how many people
Yeah,
there is, but the feature itself says deception versus theirs.
Yeah. Your investigation is higher than your deception, though, anyways, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's why I'm saying it's
Right,
a
from the
mixture
amount of
of
people.
both
Alright,
because you're
So
talking
am I-
to so.
Am I doing this with advantage, you said, or with another
Yeah,
expertise?
with advantage and both. Yeah.
Yo, we're going somewhere.
Fine.
Yes.
All it took was her going around punking people.
Fuck, that's a natural 20.
Let's fucking do it.
Ew.
That's a net 20.
Mhm,
Fuck them
mhm.
up, Queen.
The last one too, man. The last one. I told you, late game carry.
Mhm.
Leaf.
And didn't even roll half bet on that D10 either. Goddamn.
Yeah, no.
You're-
very true.
You find a servant, one of the waiters.
Fucking knew it.
Is a human. You ask him when he's goes to offer you a drink, and they, without a beat, say, "No, of course not. Have a good day," and they continue on.
That they're not the
I mean-
next monster?
You could try and continue. You follow them if you want to, and keep an eye on them if you would like. But you've now identified them. You've identified one of the waiters in this place as it. You could try and keep your eye on them if you would like.
I've identified them as the spy master.
You identified that when they answered the question that you asked, that they in their mind thought yes.
So if
Okay.
you did the whole thing of, okay, Spy Master out loud, because that's the whole thing, you should be getting the reward. So you could declare it, or you could watch him. Do you?
Okay, well, I'm definitely gonna watch him for a while first.
Fucking knew it was
But I
servant,
would've-
man. I'm like, it's either musician or servant. Don't mind me.
Leaf over here. Just
But
fucking
yeah,
playing spy
you do
game.
know that we don't have too much more time before the Queen shows up.
Also, though, okay, I have this thing where I can track, like, I can memorize people's tracks. I don't know how he would leave tracks. Track recognition. When you examine a creature's trail, footprints, or similar signs, you can recall the circumstances under which you examined this individual creature's trail before.
Oh, it's like tracking like a
Oh. It means that if you find like the footprints of somebody that you found the footprints of before, or any trail, it doesn't have to be footprints, but if you find signs of someone's trail, and you found that, and you know that person, you'll know who it is. So usually
Yeah.
when you have tracking, it would go, I know a humanoid came through this area,
Oh, I'm just
and then-
saying I'm paying attention to what
Yeah,
his.
yeah.
That's
I got it.
clever.
Like,
That's our
I
first
mean,
weekend. Yeah,
You're like,
Because if
wait
he
a second.
you're
changes
keeping
his
up on the
guys,
trail.
yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
Guys, you know his footprint. You know his foot size.
Uh,
That's smart.
You're like, he's
Exactly.
wearing Converse, though. What?
Yep,
What
exactly.
is that?
In
No,
all of his
no, that's
disguises, he
exactly
wears
right.
the same shoes.
They're so comfortable.
They are.
But yeah, can I actually? Is there? If I've not like maxed out what I can do, I want to like really thoroughly examine his features, like his physical features, what he looks like.
He's wearing a mustache that you've determined is fake. And
Magic fake, or like
Oh no, they're just
fake.
got like like fake, just a fake mustache.
I left that idea. It's like one of those $5 ones.
Yeah, it's just a straight up fake money. It's not even that great of one, actually. It's just because nobody's they're just so casual with moving throughout here, handing out drinks and stuff. Nobody's just paying any attention that much, right?
He's handing
They're-
out drinks. People are looking at the drink and then saying thank you and then turning back to their group. They aren't looking at his face.
He also knows he can afford to be kind of like relaxed because these are a bunch of nobles who are probably drunk, but they're focused on smooching off other people. So it's like, I can just,
Exactly.
let my hair down right now.
And so yeah, they're mingling through.
You're
just,
probably the closest one to him that's actually looked directly at him. So
Yeah, no, and you asked that question. They gave their smooth, easy lie. It sounded very convincing, but you knew that they were saying when you said, "Are you the spy master?" And they said, "No, of course not. Have a good day." In their mind, they were thinking, "Yes, I am."
in their mind, they were thinking, "Oh shit."
And so
They didn't seem to be worried.
didn't seem to be worried though. Seemed to just
No,
kind of.
I was just joking. My bad.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So
Would you like to make a let's see. Actually, I need to make a check on this side real quick. Give me just a second.
okay.
Because I need to see how much of your I need to figure out how much of his features you can make out through their very sparse setup on this, and while tailing them and kind of getting a look at them and stuff. So give me just a second.
Okay. Just so you know, I have 90 feet of dark vision and a cat eyes trick that I don't remember.
It's not very freaking here.
Oh, that's what it gives me. Maybe. Sorry, I'm
Alright.
trying to make sure I don't miss any perks.
Yeah,
No, you're
that's
good.
it. There's a lot. There's a lot in level up. It's good.
There is, yeah, definitely. In regards to this, seeing through you, they kind of just look with the mustache and the little hat that they have to wear in this uniform and stuff. It just really makes it hard to go that this isn't just any possible human wearing a mustache right now. Like, it's such a fake mustache. Why is nobody noticing this? That's almost the most absurd part about it. There's a casualness with which they just walk throughout this crowd, and there's you do note that the mustache and its fakeness is actually a tiny layer because the rest of it is actually far more subtle. They've got makeup on. There's stuff that's actually changed the way their cheekbones look on their face and where it's at. So you can't actually tell what their facial structure actually looks like. They're obviously really good at using a disguise kit, and then just slapped on a fake mustache for lulz or something. I don't know, but yeah,
Okay.
there's
I'm
the spy
gonna
man.
follow them as well. I don't want to be obvious, obviously. But
You can tell that they look to be about in their because the mustache is gray, and also with the way the cheekbones and the shadow and the makeup is, but they look like they're supposed to be 50 or 60 years old, an old butler type of person. All right, but you can tell that that's fake, so they could be younger or even older. You have no idea.
yeah, I want to wait and see if they go outside or enter a room by themselves.
It's all the open area here, unfortunately, for the time being. There's just a bunch of pillars and seating areas beyond, and then the middle dance floor in the center.
All right. Well, she's watching.
All right.
Is anybody near me?
They can be if you want them
Oh,
to. You're wandering around this ballroom.
Yeah, we would be at our table at this point, just probably vibing, talking.
yeah.
Can I
So
go
you know,
over there?
yeah, you could skirt over. You figured out the footprint, and you know what they look like for now. So if you think you would feel safe to just grab one of those, go for it.
Yeah, I don't want to lose him. Did he? Okay, last thing. Did he seem like he just kind of wrote me off? Like he was like, whatever, what a weird person in question? Or did he seem like.
everybody asks that questions. He's been asked. Everybody here has probably been asked that question a bunch of times today. So they
Okay.
didn't think anything of it because it's really common to
Okay.
be asked.
Alright.
Alright, never mind. Yeah, then
There's
yeah,
no
I'm
such
gonna
thing
go over.
on there.
I'll go over to the table and be like, alright, well, I'm gonna sit down, like really like full of myself style and lean back and take a drink of somebody's drink, who like anybody nearby, and be like, "Found
Drinking.
Spy Master."
I knew it.
You really?
The Genasi
What?
ingenuity here gives you like a fist bump.
She
Who
fits
is
bumps. He is one of the server dudes, the one with the super obvious fake mustache.
There's a server guy with a. You've got to be kidding me, Zale. Zale, look.
Arthur.
Oh.
So like looks like Danny's like pointing out Zo's like Zo's doing passive perception just looks at the guy.
Hey,
How in the world? I not. Did you see that? Oh my god.
I think you're spending too much time, like, you know, drink. Why don't you just wave him down? You know, we saying, "Hey, we want something here." Should we be coy about this, or?
Well, I mean-
who do we tell? Do we?
Well, I honestly have questions for him. Like, what is his job description? And how did he get it? What are the qualifications? What does it entail?
Okay. She's gonna just wave down that waiter, so, like, make eye contact and be like, "Can you come here?"
The waiter comes over with the tray and leans in and says, "How may I help you?"
Oh, my friend does have some interesting questions, as she's taken up some of the food there and just given it to Cac.
Well, so she's gonna look at you like really frustrated. I wasn't ready for confrontation. Hold on. Would you wanna hang out after this, finger guns?
They blink and then they go, "Wait." And they take off their mustache and they look at all of you, and then they look around real quick and they're like, "How did you know?"
I can tell. It wasn't
Oh,
the
come
mustache
on,
though,
right?
but that doesn't help.
In the stars and seas, we can achieve the impossible when we put our minds and hearts into it. Gives a thumbs up.
Well, I'm really, really glad that you said it and I didn't have to, because that was awkward. But, I really want to know, like, everything? What do you do? Spy Master. What do you spy?
Right now, a bottle of Chardonnay on the other side of this room, and a pretty lass who's waiting for me in the other area. Y'all have a good night, and stay safe.
Instant he says that, Zell kind of has like a frown a little bit. Marcel?
He gives a wink, and then he puts his mustache back on, and walks off into the crowd.
That was Marcellus.
The voice, I recognize it.
Has Leaf met Marcellus?
No.
Leaf has not.
Okay. Marcellus? Who's Marcellus? You guys
Oh.
know him?
He boasts that he's the best spy in all of Avale, just to get a rise out of, you know, the other spies and stuff. But also, it's a common tactic to, if you admit the truth, people think you're lying most of the time.
It's the
What
first
a
time we've
waste.
actually seen him genuinely try. Even though it was with that mustache on there.
wearing a fake
Oh, I also saw that there is a couple trapdoors in that one room, and Can't figure out how you activate them or anything, but yeah, forgot about that because of the Spy Master thing, which was a freaking bust.
It might be like verbal. You never know. 'Cause it's a little bit too hard if it's like something that anybody can interact with. So it's probably like a tune. I don't know.
Oh no, it was really hidden. Like, it was very secret.
I didn't even notice. So
Stelgo's like just kind of puts a hand on Arthur's shoulder. Arthur, it's okay, you didn't know some thick mustache.
Well, if you think about
well,
it, like
usually I like to count my exits. I didn't realize there were 2 more here. I didn't even know about.
it's because you need to relax, chill. You know, Leaf has the energy of just a gentle breeze. You just gotta let everything unfold around you, observe, and then it makes sense.
Yeah, man, go with the flow.
Feel
Yeah.
exits all the time, Arthur. That's not a great way to enjoy a party. Because then you're just looking for ways to leave, aren't you?
Actually, it is fire safety.
Well, you should always know your exits. See, yeah, that's important.
Mm-mm.
There's a bunch. Arthur nods.
And at this point, Zarma's just paying attention to what type of food Cac's eating the most of, and then Zarma will try to see what type of cuisine it is, see if he can figure out how to make it. That type of thing.
Can't see the most of he's eating everything on the table.
It's more of if there's multiple repeats of a certain type of food and he eats it first, Zarma's paying attention to that.
Pretty
Is
much
there still
anything and
music?
everything there then.
Oh yeah.
So by coincidence, what one has he eaten the most of?
Cac cannot answer that
I know.
because he has not been paying attention to what he's been eating.
Right, but at this point, Zarma's been watching.
He pleads the fifth.
Do you have a food table we can roll on, Janice?
I do not have a food table we can roll on.
Just come up with a random
there's a lot of
food.
available.
What's a fun French food? Baguette.
All the best.
Baguettes and caviar. That's all we've
There we
got.
Perfect.
Before you said French food, I was gonna say deviled eggs because here in the Midwest, that's an event food.
Hmm.
Bunch of double eggs. It's Cac.
It's just a shit ton of deviled eggs.
That would also work. That shit's funny.
Oh,
He's
that's
gonna
so
be
perfect.
farting so bad on the way out of this party.
Alright. I will probably try to catch the eye of Demetrius and see, like, do you want to talk now or...
They actually join you guys at at your table.
Okay.
Around sitting down, and they say, "Brilliant Pillar and the Stars and Sea Society having a feast. Huh.
Mm-hmm.
People will sing songs about this one day, don't you think?"
Yeah, probably the mountain of food he's eating, pointing towards Cac.
Actually, I think I'll take a couple of those.
It's like a bag of holding, but it's a stomach. It's fascinating.
Yes, I've observed a similar habit from this one. Demetrius side eyes as Brock is just consuming food now. He's just like nodding, sitting down at your table, happy to just be here, and just eating. He's not usually much of the conversationalist himself until it comes to like sharing certain stories, you know, battle stories. Gets in on that. But he tends to just happily observe, nodding, listening, with a mouthful of food, as Demetrius isn't eating. He's just sitting there with that coiled bit of a smile on his face, and he'll spend this time mostly as idle conversation. He'll talk about the passing of certain constellations and star signs and comets that we can look forward to in the next month. That is his idle conversation. That's the closest to small talk Demetrius has.
I will counter that idle conversation with, so I had a lunchtime stroll a while back and stumbled across this quaint little shop. Seems you might have left a book of yours behind, though I highly doubt that would be a topic to discuss at such a festive event. But got some questions.
I usually find that most conversations that happen in sunlight shouldn't be happening at nightfall.
Exactly.
If you catch my understanding.
Of course. So, and she's going to just use message cantrip to just be like, whenever you feel ready to have this conversation, just give me holler, kind of thing.
You hear back in your mind. I'm glad that you gave the invitation. In fact, what with us being such short distances from each other, guild halls and all, and us spending some time here in Arvale for the next few months, I thought we might be of aid. Feel free to reach out, and I will do the same. Hopefully this is the beginning of a very long and fruitful partnership. Though you've declined the formal arrangements, I believe I understand why, and I respect that decision. But it doesn't mean that we can't occasionally work together. We have similar interests, after all. That was much longer than the message it should have been, and you immediately pick up that this guy can telepathically communicate.
Okay. Yeah, she's just like, wait, does he know a special spell? Oh, no, he's telepathic, gotcha. Alright, then she's gonna respond back. Good to know about this capability. Makes things so much more easier. Of course, it's best to know who's at your back when you're adventuring the darkest steps of the world. Of course, is there a specific way I should reach out or a message to give? Or just show up?
Whatever method is most convenient. Your group seems rather unconventional, so I expect unconventional methods of reaching out. We can adapt, as I'm certain you can as well.
Gives him the best mental nod that that she can translate. And goes back to eating.
In another universe, a certain purple minotaur was listening in on this conversation.
Meanwhile, Zarma's just looking between Brock and Keck. I think that's the third tray of Devil Day. Oh no.
You need the protein in order to punch the injustice of the world.
It might
Very
punch the
true.
gut. Oh
Can't
no.
fight with an empty stomach.
Mm-hmm. It's what my uncle used to say. In order to... Actually, I probably shouldn't say that right now. She just goes to eat.
You guys watch as suddenly the doors burst open. Fanfare comes out. And immediately, riding in on steeds, at the lead of it, a very real horse, but followed up and flanked on either side are 12 Knights Arcane, dressed in battle gear, not fancy royal ceremonial attire. You can see the mud being tracked in from the horse hooves, and you can see the splatters of dried blood and mud that is still on their armor. These folks look like they just rode in from the front lines. The whole room goes quiet as they come in, and you see as she comes to a stop, the whole dancers move out of the middle of the floor, pushed away by the Lion's Guard and the sound of the trumpets, and the Knights Arcane come to a stop in a semicircle with her right in the center, she immediately, before the horse has even fully come to a stop, has leapt off of it, and a servant rushes up to grab the reins, and she waves towards one on the sidelines. You see, it's actually Marcellus, since you've identified him. As a mere servant walks up, and she goes, takes the goblet from him without, or even like really giving him any look, and takes a long drink of it. And as she does so, the crowds are gathering around the outside of the circle to hear her. And she says, "I hope I didn't keep the party waiting. I came in good company, though, as you can see. A toast for the Magic Knights." There's a cheer, the one you'd heard before, praise the Magic Knights. Praise the Magic Knights. A couple of hurrahs, and she takes that long swig from the chalice and passes it off to Marcellus, who hurries off into the crowd. And she ends walking between each of the Knights Arcane, or unsummon their mounts from underneath them, and gather in a bit of a semicircle. Between these 12 fine Arvalian defenders, they spilled their fair share of Yellon blood today. And you can see their servants bringing out full bottles of wine, and they begin filling them up amongst everybody in the room. Enough to fill every goblet here. The bottles being poured into yours, you recognize are from the Marvesi vineyard and Salateru. I thought you might each like to meet them, to see what Arvalian honor looks like. There's a bit of a nervous murmuring amongst the crowd. A few of them are recognizing the bottles now. A couple of them say, This is from my vineyard." "Ah, yes, I thought you might notice this. I had the bottles brought in after I bought all of your estates." There's a nervous chuckle, a wave of disbelief that sweeps through their ranks. Amongst the protectors, Artifice, and Arcanum, there is a shared reaction of disbelief. She walks up and she settles herself quite comfortably on her throne. Another servant comes up and offers her another glass, and she sets her blade against the side of the throne. It's not even in a scabbard. It still has blood on it. And as she stares out amongst the crowd, she kind of speaks a little bit less projected, but from her throne, everybody can hear. "You think I jest? I do not. Each of these Magic Knights," and they're marching up and they kneel down in front of her, "have shown true honor and service to this nation. So I've seen fit to reward them. They deserve a reward, do they not?" There's a murmur, uncomfortable amongst the crowd. A few people walk out, servants with these pillows, velvet, with keys on them, and a scroll attached to the end of it. "So I've decided to give them the deeds to some of the lands that I have recently acquired. Any who wish to follow in their stead might earn similar honor." They each accept their keys and stand up with a salute. Then suddenly from behind them, someone says, "This is an outrage." And you can see it's a nobleman. Simplest word is inbred. They look weak. It's everything you think of when you think of nobility that is sat on their riches. And they're Their voice, however, carries with a bit of unnatural confidence as people around them look, and they pipe up more. I mean, what sort of honor do you mean? Sounds like you wish to tempt honor with the promise of riches. There's a murmur of agreement, a swell in the crowd. What honor indeed? The swell dies down. It used to be that knights fought for the people for the sake of honor. Now they don't fight for the sake of the same honor. She spits. They think it looks like a knight, if it mounts a horse like a knight, if it speaks oaths like a knight. Surely it must be a knight. She stands up from her throne. She's got her sword being held like behind her, and the tip of it's dragging against the carpet as she makes her way down, and then it hits against the marble, and it kind of makes a screech noise for a moment. How about somebody that doesn't look like a knight? I bet you might decide that they lack honor, and you have it. All because you've mouthed it, dressed yourselves up at it. Would you like to see what a knight looks like? I'll show you. She points her blade, and she points it right at you, Zale. Would you care to duel me? Just for a demonstration.
So kind of, he nods.
Everybody in the
He
ballroom
comes
looks
up.
at you.
Yeah, he shows no like sense of worry or anything. He just puts on a little smile. It's like, it would be a pleasure, Your Majesty. And he'll get up and start walking over.
Gonna patch you some guidance. Like, you got this, bro. You got this.
She walks over to one of the Lion's Guard and takes the rapier off of their side and tosses it towards you.
Catches it. He kind of looks at her. If it may, shall I, as code of the Arcade Knights, shall I go all out?
Oh, of course.
And with that, Zell activates his gauntlet, so his gauntlet on his other hand sparks, and then the energy blade comes out as he casts haste on himself. Activate his blade chanting.
There's a murmur from amongst the Lion's Guard at the fact that someone managed to bring a weapon in. And a couple of them actually go to like instinctively reach for their weapons. And she says, "Stay! This is but a duel. A dance, if you will. Because I think that this has become too complicated for you. So maybe a bit of a show might make this simpler." And she dashes towards you. And what happens next is more of a dance. No need to roll initiative. She's clearly basing every move she's doing off of what you're doing and letting your attacks lead off of it. She aggresses first, but as soon as you start into your blade chanting, it becomes a real battle. Some magic flares in between each of these strikes. You're able to use your spells, and she is proving herself quite deft at being able to literally just avoid almost everything you're doing. But a couple of your things are clearly keeping her on her toes, and it looks, from most people's perspectives, to be a brilliant, even display of martial and arcane prowess. On her end, she's just using a sword. And you get the strong feeling that she's holding back in this fight. giving her enough time to even continue her speech to these people.
Nope, Zell is it's very much as Blade chanting. It's very much a dance itself. So he is throwing things in there, but he's definitely not pulling out his like huge things he's throwing at her, like his 4th level, 3rd level spells of like.
Of course, yeah.
Effect.
No, y'all are putting on a really good show here and using some good abilities. But neither one of you are trying to hurt the other person in this, and it's actually quite of a refreshing kind of sparring match, as it's clearly this dance back and forth. She says,
What?
I am instituting a draft. Yes. I will conscript all able-bodied Arvalians to the war effort. Take care not to let your honor keep you from joining your fellow citizens as they march to defend our very future. There are adventurers, heroes in the world, people with grand powers, people who may or may not rise up, but it is not their honor that is at stake. It is not on guilds, and it is not on our foreign allies. It is on us. A spark, and suddenly you are both clear across from each other, and she plants her blade down into the ground, and you watch as it breaks right through it casually. There's just like, she's not stabbing it forcefully. She takes the blade and plants it almost like she's planting a flag, and you hear the stones crack underneath the weight of it, and she lets it sit there, and she gives a bow to you. Thank you for this duel.
The sword goes away, and Zell, in his Jiaolan way, he does a formal bow of respect as he bows. Thank you, Virgin's Will.
She leaves the blade planted right in the center of it, and she turns and looks at the others and says, no armor. Not even an Arvalian. I'd say that this guild, the Stars and Sea Society, who's rarely been here for but a few scant weeks, has done more for this country than any of these knightly orders have. So I've made it simple. The people are going to go to war, because we are at war. Let not the waves of amber wheat and the fullness of your vineyards fool you. Those fields will be awash with scarlet soon enough, and already the grapes of your vineyards grow heavy. They grow heavy with the wrath of your farmhands. Take up your arms before they take your life and your honor with it. Or don't speak of honor to me in this throne room again. And she spits and walks back up, leaving her sword embedded right in the dead center, and sits down on her throne. And music, and you see as Wisteria kicks in on a song, gets a few notes into it, and really, I'm a fan. Yes, my grandmother was as well, but. And she just looks at her, like, seriously, and you see the most devilish grin go across Wisteria's face, and they kick in on a song that immediately thrashes, and the ballroom is surprised by it. She gets in, and the instrumentals are picking up, and just as she's going up towards the mic, you catch it. Somebody bursting through the front doors. There's sounds like a din in the distance, perhaps the protests louder or closer than they were before. But as the doors open and let that sound in, somebody, a Knight's Guard, Lion's Guard, without their helmet, comes rushing up, out of breath. Them, in the, and one of the nobles, the one that had actually said this is outrageous before, is next by and says, "Out with it, fool! What are you trying to say?" And he says, "In the sky!" And he turns, and that same moment that he says it, you can hear in the distance the sound of panic and disarray. And suddenly something crashes right through the roof. You see it as next to that sword, left as a monument, something smacks right down into the middle of the ballroom and breaks several of the tiles and stones, going in a good crater of mosaic splattering around it. And the people react by fleeing away from this area as the Knight's Guard suddenly place up their shields and a bunch of the debris that wrecks out from it blasts against it. The area is filled with smoke, and there is a bunch of people trying to make their way to look outside. As you look up through the hole in the roof, huge chunk of it ripped out from this crash into it. You can see that there seems to be a meteor shower or something going on. You can see blazes of fire falling across the sky. The smoke is starting to clear from the center. Arthur's like, "Oh, man. And I thought this wasn't going to be fun." He's like, "It's not just here. It's the whole city. The whole place, there's a fire and wrecks. It's some sort of disaster. I don't know. Nobody seems to know what's going on." Barak, you see as him and Demetrius. Demetrius places a hand on his shoulder, and Barak says, "We are going to check on the queen." And you see as they teleport and disappear away. The smoke filling this room, you can't see much more than a couple of feet in front of you guys right now. But it is starting to clear a little bit out of the center. And you can see where the circle of the Knight's Guard are circling in closer towards whatever crashed into the middle. You can see a bit of a blazing hot glow coming from it. Seems to be some sort of silverish glow, perhaps. It's
Tell us if it's outside, because if it's lightly secured around the center, can you see through it? Because it's outside low.
Yeah, it is only lightly obscured around the center. So you, yeah. What's your passive perception again?
22.
Okay. Then yeah, you can see through the closing in circle of knights, and you can see that embedded in right next to that sword appears to be a big rock. What are you doing?
So, kind of glances over to the rest of you guys, looking and see what you guys got, and he's not gonna approach the rock further. He's still gonna keep the spell, but he's definitely gonna skirt around it, but keeping an eye on the rock. I am, because you can clearly see it, going to cast Detect Magic. And going to turn my eyes towards it to see what it's doing.
It is not magical.
I'm just gonna...
It's kind of strobing a little bit, which is weird for something to do that's not magical. It's like ebbing in this light, pulsating silver glow.
Is it going like? Is there a rhythm to it? Of the strokes?
Um,
1, 2,
it could.
1, 2, 3.
No, it's steady, kind of like a heartbeat.
Oh, I don't like that.
Alright,
So,
yeah, she...
like runs over to you guys. Quick as flash, because he's hasted still. Everybody okay?
Honey's been drinking her tea, she just gently puts it down. Guessing it's an attack, or that is a little, present left behind by a forensic reference approach, I don't know. What's going on? She steps up to walk over to you.
Being fell, so...
Seems to be more throughout the city, though, which, curious.
They want to investigate.
You see as approaching the circle of knights who have circled around it, both Garen and Headmaster Zazdesh are approaching it.
Come on, let's help them
Shall we
out.
approach it as well?
Yeah, Zarman will lead the way.
Mm-hmm.
That's the knight's rapier. He has not put that thing down. He's like already like, alright, something's up.
It's not magical. That's odd, isn't it? Garen is saying. The Headmaster is saying, this is not odd. This is a dragon egg.
Oh.
That is a silver dragon egg. And you see as a murmur goes amongst the knights, and out in the distance, through the large open doors, you can see the night sky, and you can see more falling stars, or dragon eggs, rather. Arthur gives a and that's where we're gonna end this session.
Damn.
Fuck!
Now I can finally be done with this fucking secret forever. I'm done. There it is. It's out.
Whoa.
I know.
Oh shit!
After so many years in this setting, dragons have finally returned to it.
Oh fuck!
Yo, what up?
Fuck!
At the dragon eggs, not dragons, have returned.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, dragon eggs have landed, so you know. We'll see what
Yeah,
happens with this.
It's going to take some time for them to be able to mature in any fashion. But I'll say this, from the war's perspective, it's like a bunch of nuclear bombs suddenly appeared everywhere.
All I'm hearing is that the Paradoxes now have a pet dragon.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
We got it.
I
We got
was
a
about
good old
to say,
dragon.
We
like-
might be forcefully
Oh,
adopting
no,
it. So,
no.
yeah. I'm pretty sure those things take so
Right?
long to hatch anyway.
This one will
Yeah, the silver one is
this
going to
one-
be up here.
yeah, this one is definitely owned by the crown. They're the one. But
Roxy points up to
I-
the ceiling, is like, you guys need to repair that. It's really, oh shit, I went
We
through.
go out and look out into garden. There's one in our garden.
Yeah,
Hold on, one last note before it ended. I forgot to say, but I gotta find my piece of paper for this. Demetrius begins casting a spell. All right, and you see as he does so. Damn it, where is it? Where did I put it? Oh no. Demetrius begins casting a spell, and it creates a sort of like skyline like view of the country or the globe, right? And he immediately uses this magic to pinpoint where all of the ones in Allvale have landed. And as soon as it does, you note that there are 16 dragon eggs in the country of Allvale right now.
Oh.
Oh fuck.
Where exactly they have landed is hard to predict because they didn't follow a natural path. When they came down, they actually veered and had like a flight path. They seemed to be trying to land
certain areas.
yeah, to certain areas. Yeah, towards areas that at the time that dragons were last here were fitting for their stuff. The landscapes have changed since then, so yeah, it's a little hit or miss on them. You might find some in some unexpected areas as a result of that, but the general thing is they were trying to land in areas that used to be
their ship.
Yep.
Oh boy.
There are 16 of them.
I had a feeling you were going to introduce Dragonfall back in after how much you talked about loving it.
Oh man, it's like my favorite.
Oh my god. The dragons.
It's been a
Oh,
long time coming for a long time anyways. It's like in the prophecy. I was like, I had to get it in there.
Yeah,
Like-
no. Fuck. No, that just like changes a lot. It's gonna be very interesting because now we're gonna be on a lot of fucking shit when
So,
you
yeah.
start curse. Oh my god.
When I mentioned yeah, the incentive for exploration, that there was a big one that I had to mention. This was the one.
We
There's
got
a
little tiny
there are
dragons.
dragon eggs.
When you're talking about collectibles, this is not what I had in mind, but I'm enjoying it.
Listen, we gotta have Gwen have her little
Collectibles.
tiny dragon horde. Let's just give her all the little dragons. That's gonna be great.
Oh my god, a little dragon sanctuary.
Yeah, I dig it.
Yep. I figured
That's
that's something you guys would say.
Yeah.
Let's
Because
give Gwen what
cool
she
thing-
needs. Her dragons.
Well, because I'm thinking, like, even though dragons are dragons, there's so much shit people can do with dragons. And I'm thinking about this, like, they'll think about this moment being like, fuck.